Voyager 2. The signal beyond the Sun for nearly half a century, it has drifted through silence, a relic from another age, moving through the cold, unlit wilderness beyond the planets, beyond the whisper of our Sun's breath, into a region no human has ever seen. Voyager 2. A fragile emissary from the 1970s, built when humanity still dreamed in analog, when data traveled slower than sound, and when no one imagined a small probe could outlive its creators. Yet, almost 50 years later, it endures, still transmitting across the vast gulf between stars, its signals faint but flawless, its purpose transformed from exploration to revelation. Then, one day, a transmission arrived, precise, structured, and deeply unsettling. It wasn't noise. It wasn't static. It was different. The data hinted at something profound, a sharp boundary in space, a silence that vibrated, and a pattern where there should have been randomness. Voyager 2 hadn't simply left the solar system. It had crossed into something else. The journey beyond the planets. When Voyager 2 launched in 1977, it was meant to last 5 years, just long enough to photograph Jupiter and Saturn. No one believed it would survive the radiation belts, the cold, or the dust beyond Neptune. But it did, and in doing so, became our first true messenger to the stars. Then, in 2018, the unimaginable happened. Voyager 2 reached the edge of the Sun's domain, the heliopause, where the solar wind meets the interstellar medium. Scientists expected a slow fade, a gentle weakening of the Sun's influence. But the readings told a different story. The change was sudden, abrupt. Plasma density spiked. Magnetic fields snapped into alignment. Cosmic radiation surged. It was like stepping through an invisible curtain into a different kind of space, a place with its own pulse, texture, and order. The edge of our solar system wasn't a fog. It was a wall. A living shield. For decades, textbooks described the heliosphere as a bubble, a soft barrier where solar wind thins into interstellar dust. But Voyager 2 showed that this bubble isn't static. It breathes. When the Sun grows active, the boundary expands, pushing outward like a living organism. When the Sun quiets, it contracts, drawing inwards and exposing the inner planets to cosmic radiation. And then came something stranger still. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 crossed this same boundary, but at different distances, 119 and 121 astronomical units. That 2-unit difference wasn't an error, it was evidence of motion. The heliosphere was moving, flexing, and reshaping with the heartbeat of the Sun. Our cosmic shield, the invisible barrier protecting Earth, isn't permanent. It's fragile. And it's shrinking. The alignment that shouldn't exist. What came next defied probability. When Voyager 2's magnetic readings were analyzed, scientists noticed that the magnetic field inside our solar bubble was perfectly aligned with the galactic field beyond it. That shouldn't happen. By all logic, the two regions should clash and twist chaotically. Instead, they met like puzzle pieces, seamless, synchronized, almost designed. Had the Sun carved this pathway naturally? Or was there structure in the void, a hidden geometry guiding cosmic forces into order? Some speculated that this border could act as a filter, controlling the flow of energy and radiation entering our system. Others quietly suggested something far more profound, that the heliosphere might be a containment field, a kind of cosmic boundary meant to isolate what's inside. Voyager 2 hadn't just mapped a border. It had stumbled upon architecture. The day silence fell. Then, in 2019, the probe went silent. No errors. No warnings. Just nothing. For nearly an entire day, Voyager 2, the most distant functioning spacecraft in history, vanished from communication. Commands sent from Earth took over 16 hours to reach it, and another 16 hours for a reply that never came. Then, just as suddenly as it had disappeared, it returned. Systems normal. Data stable. NASA marked the cause as a power fault. But hidden deep in the telemetry were spikes, subtle bursts of electromagnetic energy that didn't match any known cosmic source. They began just after the blackout. When Voyager stabilized, it started detecting a rhythmic pulse in the surrounding plasma, steady, repeating every 13.2 hours. It wasn't solar wind. It wasn't cosmic radiation. It was deliberate. A soft, resonant wave echoing through the vacuum. When converted to sound, it resembled a heartbeat, slow, haunting, alive. The pattern in the chaos. Weeks passed. Then months. The rhythm persisted, unwavering, perfect. Next came energy bursts, tiny flares of plasma that mirrored the same timing. When plotted, the pattern formed a spiral, a Fibonacci-like sequence, the same mathematical order seen in galaxies, storms, and seashells. Coincidence seemed impossible. It was as if the very fabric of space was echoing a universal code, a signal written into the geometry of the cosmos. Some within the mission began calling it the response field. Something, whatever it was, seemed to be reacting to Voyager 2's presence. The fold in space. Then came the most extraordinary reading of all. Voyager's magnetometer suddenly flipped. The magnetic field didn't just shift direction, it folded in on itself. Space twisted. And yet there was no nearby planet, no mass, no gravitational force that could explain it. For a few minutes, the boundaries between the inner and outer cosmos blurred, as if the spacecraft had crossed a membrane instead of a wall. If true, that means the heliopause isn't a border at all, but a filter, allowing some forms of energy or information to pass through while keeping others trapped within. If that's the case, then our solar system isn't merely drifting in space. It's contained. Maybe even isolated. Echoes from the unknown. Then something stranger happened. Voyager 2 began sending data it was never programmed to produce, telemetry files with timestamps from decades ago, code written in formats no onboard system should understand. Obsolete instruments turned themselves back on. Dormant circuits powered up. And among the streams of data, images began to appear. Blurry fields of light. Moving shadows. Faint shapes that seemed to drift independently of the probe. Were they cosmic artifacts? Glitches? Or fragments of something the vacuum itself remembered? It was as if space had memory, and Voyager had learned how to read it. What the silence taught us: Voyager 2's discoveries weren't just scientific, they were philosophical. It showed that emptiness is not empty. That silence can speak. That the border between light and darkness is alive with intent. Beyond the reach of our sun lies a region that moves with precision, responds with rhythm, and behaves as though aware of what touches it. None of it fits within the model of a random, indifferent universe. Today, Voyager 2 drifts in darkness, its faint voice taking over 17 hours to reach home. Yet it still whispers, still listens, a tiny machine at the edge of forever. And somewhere beyond that shimmering boundary, something, or someone, may be whispering back. The spacecraft we built to explore has become a mirror, reflecting the possibility that the universe itself is aware of our reach. Perhaps what Voyager 2 found wasn't an end, but a threshold, the border of something vast, ancient, and waiting to be seen.